What's up, folks? Craig Mack here, Liberty Bell Beekeeper. So today I'm talking about plastic nuke boxes. In particular, these are the Easy Nuke, the Jester Easy Nuke. People use these all the time for selling their nukes and transporting, and they work great. Weather resistant because they're plastic and easy to deal with as far as creating nukes, because you can put them outside and they'll be fine for the weather for a few weeks. They also have a tab for a feeder if you're going to feed your nukes, which you can do easily with that tab. I don't use them for anything else but nukes. I see some people collect swarms in these things. I think it's a nightmare because of the design, the nooks and crannies in these boxes. You get bees all over the place, and it is not worth to me the hassle of wrangling bees through all these nooks and crannies. So I just use them for selling my nukes. So they come as an unfolded box, and there's a couple of issues with these boxes. If you don't do the folding properly, the lids want to always pop up. They don't want to stay closed. You'll get puffiness around these seams where the bees like to come out on the inside seam in there. You get bees that escape these things if you don't fold them right. Now, what I like to do, because I'm a former pizza delivery guy, when you're not delivering pizza, you're folding pizza boxes or mopping or doing something else. But in doing so, the key and the trick with these things is to pre-fold. So we have, especially these double folds, these double perforations that make up the edge, these lines here. If you don't pre-fold them, they're a real pain to fold. So I'm going to show you how I do this, because I think it's a smart move to pre-fold these boxes, so that way you do not end up with a headache. I'm trying to do these 30 at a time. So when I do this, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I pre-fold. So there's three sides of this, two sides in the lid that have all the major folds. This is the bulk, the bottom and the side. That has two folds on it as well. So what I do with these is I start and I work my way around, and I'm going to pre-fold all of these perforations. So I'm going to just take them and I'm going to overfold them like this. I overfold all these. Now, this requires a bit of hand strength. If you're doing, hundreds of these things, I suggest hiring a teenager to do it for you. But when it's just me, I have to do all this labor myself. I'm trying to make things as easy as possible. So you see on that double fold, I'm going to fold the first side, and then I'm going to pick this up and fold it over again. And again, overfold and press that fold and get that thing started. Coming to my lid, same thing. With the lid, this is the fold, the hinge of the lid. Usually I use the edge of a table and I just fold this down, back over, down, over again. And that gives the lid some mobility, and it's also going to help you when you go to keep these lids closed and they're not trying to pop up on you all the time. Again, another double fold for the lid. What I'll do is I'll run my finger down it, and that helps to depress that perforation. Again, I'm going to press and pull. It's a good hand strength exercise. By the time you're done doing 10 or 20 of these, your hands are going to be tired, but your nuke boxes are going to be better off in the end. They're going to sit nice and square, they're going to stack nicely, and they're going to stay closed without any effort. So I fold my lid first and get that nice and situated. You can see that fold stays on its own. If you don't do that pre-fold, you tend to get this thing popping up and not wanting to stay closed. But if you do that pre-fold, your box stays real nice. Again, fold the first one, pick up, press, fold again, overfold. Your handles, again, it's another one. If you don't pre-fold these, they don't like to stay folded when you get this box all together. So I'm doing all of these folds. I'm just pre-folding all of these before I try to fold it for assembly. Doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to go crazy with most of the folds, but the lid in particular and the double folds, the handles are all really important, in my opinion, to do that pre-fold. It just makes your life a little bit easier when you're going to fold these things. So now that I got all that pre-folded, I'm ready for final fold assembly. So you're taking your sides and you're flipping them up and in. Your bottom and side panel comes up. These flaps go inside of the box. And we got a rough shape. Then your outside fold comes down and over. Make sure this corner is nice and tight. And your inside tab gets folded over into the top slot. And again, when you pre-fold all those, that sits real nice in there. This tab gets folded back and in. Sometimes you have to hold it on the inside so you get the hole lined up for the tab, the slot. And then your handle goes up and in. Again, these don't always fold real nice. But if you do the pre-fold, it does a nice job of staying put. So again, tab comes over, side tab into the top slot. It's going to take you a few minutes to do these the first couple of times you do it. Once you get into it, it works out real nice. Again, without the pre-fold, these corners, these insides, the bees can slip past them because they get a little bubbled if it's not pre-folded. But as you can see, this is nice and square because I did that pre-fold. And my lid fits nice and snug. If you don't do the pre-fold on the lid, you'll get it where it doesn't want to seat, it doesn't want to stay put. But the pre-fold, it stays nice and tight. So, excuse me. That's Nuke Box Folding 101 with Craig Mack here at Liberty Bell Beekeepers. I do, for transport, I tape these things closed. I obviously tape my entrance, or I won't tape my entrance. That folds pretty closed. Sometimes I'll tape the corners, depending on how far the person's going. I usually recommend bringing net. But if you fold these right, do the pre-fold on them, you will have a much easier time with these boxes. And especially when you're going to stack and store them like so, you'll get a much neater stack and they won't be tipping over because the lids are wanting to jump open. So, hope you like that. Thanks.